Welcome to Game On, presented by KIG Insurance. I'm Drew Miller. This is a video series all about promoting small businesses by highlighting a business, celebrity interviews, and just really fun, engaging content. I'm so excited for my guest today. She is the Executive Director of the Detroit Metropolitan Apartment Association. She does so much for her members, and she has built the DMAA into one of the largest multifamily associations in the state of Michigan. So please help me welcome Peggy Ellis. And Peggy, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Drew, for having me. I'm actually very excited. DMAA is a wonderful place to work, and our members, that includes you, are super fantastic. So thanks for giving me a chance to highlight the good things that we do.
Oh, for sure. So my goal out of this is just to get as much information out about the DMAA as possible and educate and let people know what you do for your members. And I'll start with the first question, and just to give everyone the little bit of background on DMAA is what is the DMAA and what do you guys do?
So we're the Detroit Metropolitan Apartment Association, and we're an affiliate of the National Apartment Association and also one of the affiliates of the State of Michigan Apartment Association. And we provide education, legislation initiatives, and networking opportunities for property professionals and suppliers alike. We also help deliver cutting edge resources. So we are also a vendor of the NAA Click and Lease, which helps our landlords immensely.
Awesome. So you talked real quickly about there's different sides to the people that are involved in the DMA. And you got one side, which is the people, the owners, managers, everyone involved in the multifamily communities. And then you have the people that are supplying to them. You have the vendors providing the service to them. Just touch on the two different sides that go into the membership of the DMA and ways that you are able to offer them support, help, and just the value added service that you can give them.
So our members are the best part of my job. So we have property professionals, and they range from maintenance men, leasing professionals, assistant managers, and then executive positions from manager all the way up to CEO of properties. And then we also have the suppliers. And what we do for both sides is we provide networking opportunities so that we can introduce people like you who provide a valuable service to our members. And not only for our members as far as property professionals, but the residents who live in those communities. So I know, Drew, you have several products that would be available for the residents. And so that's a great benefit to our property professionals. So we have maintenance men who, of course, are the backbone of every property. They're responsible for the grounds and snow removal and keeping the apartments up to date. They do all the apartment turns. And so what DMAA does for them is we offer education. So we're constantly having education classes that show like the latest and greatest products for plumbing and electrical. And we offer certification classes for HVAC and EPA and a certified apartment maintenance technician. So we offer them education. And usually what happens is when they come to those education opportunities, they're networking with other maintenance professionals. And so they're building their own library of resources so that when they run into a problem, it's not unusual for one maintenance person to reach out to another maintenance person and say, hey, I've never saw this problem before. Can you give me some advice? So I think that's super fantastic. And then our leasing professionals, the same thing. We offer them education and networking opportunities for meeting suppliers because they have to have their properties run efficiently and they always have to offer the next best thing. And so they have to stay up to date on what the trends are and what residents want. And that kind of goes up the board. We also offer designation classes. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but to sign a lease in the state of Michigan, if you are not the owner of the building, you have to have a real estate license. So this is kind of an unnecessary barrier for the industry. So right now there's a lot of legislation initiatives going on. We currently have House Bill 4160 that's addressing this unnecessary licensing barrier, saying that, they're not negotiating contracts, they're just showing apartments and introducing the product to customers. This is really an unnecessary barrier. So legislatively, we're fighting for their jobs because we don't want to put those barriers in place. That helps our managers and property owners as well. So for the property side, we're offering so much. We have education, certification classes, networking opportunities, and then just the resources that we have through the National Apartment Association are endless. So I did mention that we have a NAA click and lease product, and that product is backed by the National Apartment Association. So if a landlord got sued with using that lease, the National Apartment Association is going to send their lawyers to the courts in Detroit, Michigan, and stand behind that lease and fight for us. And that's just a great thing in our industry, especially for our independent rental owners who can't afford to keep an attorney on staff. So this is it's a great resource.
No, that
and
is.
Then on our vendor side, boy, I can't thank our vendors enough. They truly are the heart and soul of our organization. They sponsor a lot of education opportunities and networking events for our property management professionals. And so we also offer education for them. We actually have a certified apartment supplier certification that NAA offers. So it's called a CAS. So that is a designation that you can get as a supplier. We offer that. We offer lots of networking opportunities for them. And then we try to have an open mind to what their needs are. So it's not unusual for a supplier to call and say, hey, I have this product, I think it's great. Is there a way to get that out there? And we might bring up that we have a YouTube channel. Maybe you could do a short video and get it on our YouTube channel. And or we'll say, hey, tag us in your social media post, and we'll retweet that and make sure that we get it out to our membership. So we also do a lot with soft encounters for relationship building, which I think is so important to all of our suppliers. Last year in 2019, when we didn't have as many restrictions, our suppliers were responsible for the 100,000 Thank You initiative. Yep. They would actually go to properties, meet with residents, supply refreshments for residents, and help residents write thank you notes to our servicemen who were deployed overseas. And so not only did it show how giving our suppliers were, but it was also an opportunity for them to get in there at the property and network and have a soft introduction without having the pressure of sell, sell, sell. And I think that just says so much about our suppliers.
No, that's great. I think you gave an amazing explanation on both sides there. And I know being a supplier, I know you do so much for all your members. And I think that anyone looking to join an association, we get so much benefit out of it. And a lot of it has to do with what you can provide and the services you guys do for the members. So to segue off of kind of the charity work and sending the letters to the servicemen and women, just talk about some of the other charity work that you do. And a lot of it is networking opportunities, but you're giving back at the same time. And I think that's a big thing about being a part of an association is, hey, you're trying to better your business, but you're also bettering your community. And I know DMAA does that very well.
Yeah, so we actually use a hashtag called We Are Family, which has several meanings. One, it means that we're family with our community and our partners, but also we're family with our associations across the state. And so I am lucky enough to have we have 6 committees at the DMAA, and all of them are committed to helping people with personal growth and helping our community. So our committee work is so important. We have done backpack drives at our Glass Star Awards. We volunteer physically at the Forgotten Harvest. We've packed food, we've cleaned food, we've sorted food, thousands of pounds. Our special events committee is responsible for doing that annually. We're coming up on the holidays, and we usually pick families through Volunteers of America to help support. That's another thing that's done. Our Next Gen committee, they're just so vital. They really are the next leaders in our organization. They have done things from read to elementary school kids. They're always looking for opportunities to serve either at soup kitchens or give back to the community. Um, they actually also organized a Build Your Own Library book club where they partnered with suppliers to say, hey, help us grow. What are some tips and tricks that you use to get where you are? And so we've had supplier partners pick different books. This month's book is called Essentialism, and it's been donated to us by Full House Marketing and Staffing. So that's the book of the month this month. But our property professionals and suppliers are alike are in that committee. And so they've been able to learn, like, what are the things to say and not to say in business. I think port furniture even helped with that. So we're very lucky that we have suppliers that drive these initiatives. And then we have the people on the ground that are willing to put in the time and do the footwork for the philanthropy. And I will tell you that most communities in DMAA's organization try to do at least 2 philanthropic things a year. So if you'll notice, if you're looking closely around Detroit, you'll see at properties there food drive here, blood drive here, collecting coats for kids. And that just says so much about all of our property professionals.
Oh, it's great. And I think giving back, especially to the community that supports you and then supports all these communities, you got to do that kind of thing. And you guys do such a great job at that. So it's kudos to you guys for that. But so we've kind of been talking a lot about new members, but we also want to talk to, during this Game On show, we want to talk to current members that are watching this and say, hey, you know what are some of the ways that they can expand on their membership? What are some things that they might not know or maybe have forgotten about the DMA that they should be maybe looking into, and things that they can be involved in more?
So it's a great question, and because this has been a new era for all of us. So we are a very social organization, as we've been talking about. So when the governor put the brakes on us having face-to-face time, it hurt physically a lot to all of us.
Yep.
That's how we did business. So we quickly had to change wheels and decide, okay, this is where we're at. We have to deal with it. We're going to have to do business somewhat differently. One of the things we did immediately is we came together with the associations from across the state. So every apartment association in Michigan got together with all of their higher level executives in the property side, and then any attorney any attorney partners that we had in our organizations were welcome to join the call. So right now, off the top of my head, I would give a shout out to Matt Miller and Jim Gromer, who were on those calls weekly with our property professionals, helping to explain the government mandates and answering questions that property professionals had. We started a Dropbox that was for resources with best practices. So not everybody was having to reinvent the wheel. If I'm sure that you all seen a form that our employees were having to sign saying, I don't have a fever, I came here willingly, all of those things. Our attorneys helped guide us. And then once a form was drafted, it was put in the Dropbox and it was there for everybody to use. So those calls were vital to our organization because all of this was new and there were so many unanswered questions. And we hear a lot on the news that could be misconstrued. Landlords aren't mean. Landlords truly care about building communities. And when you hear words like eviction and moratorium, they're shadow words that cast a different light across landlords. And when the truth is, most landlords do everything they can to help their residents because they're building communities. Most of our members are building communities. They're not just apartment owners or apartment facilitators. These residents are their family. They look after them. I know that I can comfortably say that 9 out of 10 of the properties that you would visit in Detroit would have a resource book that if you came in and said, hey, I'm having trouble, my unemployment hasn't came in, can you help me? They're helping you to look for a solution and not to create a problem for you. So those things are things that I think people need to know. Like, the landlords are not the bad guys. The maintenance people are not the bad guys. They've been put in a precarious situation by the government, and people don't understand what the ramifications could be. So that's one thing that we did, was we banded together as a whole to say, how can we effectively help our communities and help each other in the process? Then on our supplier side, wow, when you're used to getting to have FaceTime and dropping into properties and management companies to talk about your product, and that is taken away, then you're like, what do I do? How do I get my product out there? I don't want to lose my business. So our communications committee came up with the idea, and we were one of the first to hold a virtual happy hour, and we invited actually members from across the state just to get on, not necessarily solve the COVID crisis, but to vent and to have some FaceTime with other people and to create some normality, and also give the people that were on the call a chance to talk about themselves so they can remind the property professionals, like, hey, I still got renter's insurance if you need it, or I can still provide your property insurance. Don't forget that, you know, just because I'm not going to be able to stop in your office at renewal time, that I'm here. And then we were very conscious about making sure that there was someone always answering the phone at DMAA, so that if there were people who needed to get in touch with other people, or they thought that they needed an opportunity, we were able to try and facilitate. We can't, of course, make people have meetings, but we always try to facilitate those meetings and create introductions. And then as people started getting Zoom fatigue, we moved our platform to what we call the hands-on, and said, okay, we've been experiencing this for a couple of months. What are some questions? What are some things that we can do to help you and help get us to the next level? And hopefully we can matriculate back to normal business. So how can we help you? And so our communication committee has done a fantastic job with that. Earlier in the season, we had a general membership meeting where we had former American Idol Manny Torres on, and just provided some light entertainment and song, and it just was a feel-good meeting, because people were drained, they're sad. This is not a happy time. I don't know that it's a sad time, because we all have been given a blessing in disguise. We have spent more time with our families. We've had to slow down. We've had to take a look and take maybe sometimes some personal inventory of what's important and what's not important. So I don't want to say it's been doom and gloom, because I think our relationships have gotten stronger through this, because we've had to make more of an effort to get on these calls and reach out to people and remind them. So very grateful for that. In fact, today, our suppliers have generously supplied pumpkins and pumpkin carving kits to property professionals, and we're going to be live at 4 o'clock today carving pumpkins virtually. So everything's kind of a new experience.
No, it's great. I think the opportunity is endless throughout the DMA for what you guys do. You guys provide so many options to get in front of clients and just help educate different communities. So it's a lot of good stuff. And so last question is, how can someone that's watching this get a hold of you? How can they become a member? Just kind of talk about the membership side of it, just real quickly.
Oh yeah, not a problem. So we're always only a phone call away, and our number is 248-594-9803. We have a Detroit Metropolitan Apartment Association website that you can go to, and if you look under resources, you'll see Drew's company there. And so if you need any insurance, you can contact him. But if you need someone to paint your apartment, or you're looking for a contractor for lawn care, those resources are there as well. There's a calendar of events on that website, and many other informative buttons and functions, so they can do that. And then let's say you're out of the you're outside of the Metro Detroit area. There are other associations across the state. So we have a Property Management Association of Mid-Michigan, which services the Lansing, Mount Pleasant area. We have a West Michigan Property Management Association, which is more Grand Rapids. And then we actually have a Washtenaw Area Apartment Association, which is more the Michigan, Ann Arbor type of apartments in there, and then our state association, of course. So we all work together. If you're a member of one association, you're entitled to the benefits of another association. And for suppliers, you can join as a statewide supplier member, and usually the benefit to that is that it's a discounted rate. You're not paying everybody's full membership fee, 4 times across the state.
No, that's great. I'll put all your information in the show notes so people will be able to see that and visit your website for sure. So, well, Peggy, there's a lot of great information on the DMAA, and you do so much for the multifamily communities out there and the people that are involved, along with the vendors like myself, who's a proud member of the DMAA. And I'm just really looking forward to getting back to the in-person meetings and events and networking that make it such a great opportunity to be a part of the DMA. And I miss seeing everyone. The Zoom things are great, but I know we all want to get back in person, seeing each other. So hopefully that's soon. So anyone watching this, like Peggy said, check them out online, give them a call. You're not going to be disappointed when you come to a meeting and join. The benefits are there. The value is there. So it's definitely something to look into and join the DMAA. And this show is all about promoting small businesses. So safely get out there, support those small businesses that make this area, Detroit, everywhere in our country, make it the backbone, make it who we are. So get out there and support them, keep them going. And the Game On show, there's other videos and interviews on my YouTube page. So visit Drew Miller Insurance YouTube page, check them out. Small businesses, some celebrity interviews, and just some really fun, engaging content. So check those out. And Peggy, it was a pleasure. I appreciate your time. And like I said, I hope to see you soon in person.
Me too. Thank you, Drew. And just so you know, we truly value your membership.
Oh, thank you.